Because everybody down the line is corrupt. They are running a government of individuals rather than a government of the people. And then somebody comes along later in the day, some consultant will say, oh, I've noticed money is missing here. Those consultants, they are not patriots. What they are looking for is their own cut from the money. So these are the issues that we have to think about in terms of accountability. So I do not take what is reported in the papers on its face value. I raised the question about accountability. And that same question is about rivers. H0t Vice Admiral is saying nobody can probe him. Look, I respect military officers because they are usually well trained, like Catholic priests. They send them to school. They train them. They give them exposure. An ordinary military officer of Nigeria is a well-educated man at the officer level. So what is H0t saying? He's saying he's accountable only to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's a very ignorant, unintelligent, uneducated thing to say. I believe he must be intelligent enough to know that when you manage a process in Nigeria, you can be called upon to account. So his argument that the House of Assembly of Rivers State cannot question him is illiterate, and he must be so informed in case he doesn't watch television. What the House of Assembly of Rivers State has said is that, look, yes, within the purview of the Constitution, the National Assembly can make laws, but they don't have evidence that the over 400 billion that was spent within 6 months, that the National Assembly had oversight. That money belongs to the people of Rivers State. H0t must give account. He cannot say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave him mandate. He cannot give him mandate to spend money anyhow. Even President Tinubu does not have that right under the Nigerian Constitution. Section 305, the way President Tinubu went about it, having been declared illegal, unconstitutional, and unjustified. So who is H0t to come and say nobody can ask him questions? The people of Rivers State, they have the right to ask questions about how their money was spent. And he must be prepared to give proper account. So Martina Amewule, and his colleagues in the House of Assembly, they are representatives of the people of Rivers. And the people of Rivers State cannot have an illegal situation in which somebody came around, spent 6 months, and he will come around and say, I don't need to give account to you. I have fulfilled the mandate that President Tinubu gave me. No, President Tinubu does not determine the nature of Nigerian democracy. That's why it's called the government of the people, and the representatives of the people should stand up and ask questions. If they fail at the level of the National Assembly, we should encourage the people in Rivers State to ask questions. That, in my view, is the issue.
Absolutely. Borrow from, because that's the core of our conversation today. Africa's biggest creditors are the IMF, the World Bank, China, private bond markets. How do their terms differ? And do we take into consideration some of these terms, or we just borrow because we need the money?
I think some countries just borrow, like your country. Nigeria just borrows because it just needs the money. Mr. Tinubu wants to walk with those, fly in a big plane and go to Brazil. He has never planned. This is a guy in Africa with a population of 250 million people. His Excellency Tinubu should sit down and get a program for Nigeria. Should be the leading house for Africa. My sister, Nigeria should be the leading house. The Nigeria population, 250 million people, would be buying Uganda's sugar, would be buying Uganda's beans. Useless people walking around, photo. Most of what African leaders like are photographs. If you ask Mr. Tinubu, you are going to borrow for what? In these 4 years, what is done? What has been done on ecosystems in Nigeria? He should have borrowed money to build a dam, another dam. Nigeria has 241 dams. You have never built a dam apart from the ones that the colonial master helped you to build. Which one have you built? And you carry generators. Are you not ashamed, you people? You carry generators from Dubai. All planes going to Nigeria, even including Tinubu's plane, must be carrying generators. Why do you ashame yourselves? A country that should lead Africa. China has much of the world because of the population. 2 million people, 2 billion people consume materials, what they produce. Nigerians, most of the material they produce, they don't have even industries. They look for it in Dubai, in China. People will die on the aircraft in China bringing material. But African leaders, much of them, because of the population. Why don't you produce your material and supply to Africa?